Welcome back to RealPage Economy Express. Let's break down the latest economic trends in a way that makes sense. Starting with jobs, unemployment claims edged up to 219,000 last week, a 5,000 increase. But the 4-week average dipped, signaling overall stability, and the insured unemployment rate held steady at 1.2%. Shifting to housing, builder confidence dropped to 42, the lowest in 5 months, mainly due to tariffs, mortgage rates, and rising costs. Despite the decline in confidence, construction activity is still moving forward at a measured pace. As such, new residential construction showed mixed results. Building permits inched up 0.1% in January, but remain 1.7% lower than a year ago. Housing starts fell 9.8% from December and 0.7% year over year, while completions surged 7.6% month over month and almost 10% from last year. In the meantime, mortgage activity is cooling. Applications fell 6.6% last week, even as 30-year fixed rates slipped to 6.9%. Moreover, refinance applications dropped 7%, but are still significantly higher than the same week last year. Inflation continues to remain a concern, with consumer prices rising 0.5% in January, bringing the annual inflation rate to 3%. Now, shelter costs drove much of this, while energy prices climbed 1.1% due to the higher gas prices. Now, producer prices followed suit, rising 0.4% in January, mainly driven by energy and food costs. Now, over the past year, producer prices climbed 3.5%, underscoring ongoing inflation pressures. Now, businesses are still adjusting to higher input costs, which could keep consumer prices elevated in the near term. Meanwhile, the Conference Board's leading economic index fell 0.3% back in January, reversing recent gains. Now, weak consumer sentiment and fewer manufacturing hours were key factors, and GDP growth for 2025 is projected at 2.3%, with stronger momentum in the first half. Now, in monetary policy, Fed Chair Jerome Powell made it clear there's no hurry to cut interest rates. Inflation is still sitting above the 2% target, so the Fed is staying cautious. Now, the latest meeting minutes confirm that rate cuts are on pause until inflation shows real sustained progress. And with new tariffs on the horizon, getting inflation down won't be easy at all. So what's the bottom line? Well, the economy is holding steady, but there are still plenty of challenges out there. The job market remains relatively strong, housing is adjusting, and inflation is still well above Fed's comfort zone. That means the central bank will likely stay on high alert for the foreseeable future. That's it for this edition of RealPage Economy Express. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again in about 2 weeks.